Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Scramble Jake's Breakfast Company. Right now, takeout, carry-out, and delivery are open Friday to Sunday, 8:30 to 1. So you can call in there, get takeout, carry-out, delivery Friday through Sunday, 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. But they are planning to open their dining room the weekend of Mother's Day. So that would be Friday, May 8th. That is the plan at the moment. You can follow them online, Facebook, that kind of stuff, to get more information, more updates as they come. Scramble Jake's Breakfast Company. Okay, back with Chuck Cavaleris, Ryan Callahan right here. It's the Blue Crew. Time for what feels like some optimism, all right? I think everyone needs some of that. Brett McMurphy of Stadium.com polled all 130 FBS athletic directors for their thoughts on the football season ahead. Let's go ahead and put up the graphic if we could. 114 of the 130 athletic directors responded. The upshot of this, if you look at the far left column, that's everyone. The middle column are the Power 5 athletic directors. The right column are the non-Power 5 athletic directors. The full bunch is over on the left. 24% believe the season starts as scheduled. 20% believe it will be a conference-only schedule this year, something we talked about a month ago, starting in October or November. 41% believe it will be a 12-game schedule starting in October or November, so you're stretching into January, December, and January a little deeper. 3% say conference-only starting in the spring. 11% say 12-game schedule starting in the spring. I don't see that. 11 is high for me. How do you do 12 games in the spring? And then 1%, only 1% says no college football in 2020, 2021, which means 99% believe one way or the other you are going to have some sort of college football season. And I think if worst case scenario you're looking at a conference-only schedule, I mean, for me, I'm looking at if you give me 6 games, I'm going to be happy. But if you can get 8, 9 games out of it at some point, hey, take it and be happy. Gentlemen, your thoughts on this poll. You can tell me whatever you want to say. Thoughts on it?
I'm personally a little skeptical of this. I think the variance in
get off the set.
The variance in the ideas of what you see, I think, shows the real story. Which when you add it up, it looks like about 75% think there's going to be a 12-game schedule played at some point. But the fact that there's really no consensus on how it's going to be done, again, gets to the heart of the issue, which is you've got to come to some sort of consensus on this. Again, I get back to what if the Pac-12 is now on the same page as the SEC and the Big Ten? You know, what if you have different parts of the country that are ready to play and different parts that are not? No one's going to want that disadvantage for certain conferences.
But according to Greg Sankey, and Jimmy had him on a couple of weeks ago on Sports Talk, he said that they all want to go together, but if we can't, we can't, and we march on if the SEC can get that money. I think that's what you're going to see. The bigger question becomes what happens inside a league if you've got Kentucky or Vanderbilt saying we're not ready, and the rest of the league.
Or Missouri,
we'll
like we talked about earlier.
Well, Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been in Nashville. Nashville's very forward-thinking on all this. Kentucky has been, their governor's been, I mean, he's partnering with the Midwest states in terms of opening up. He's not with the South. So those are the two, to me, that I think may be a different drummer. But
some states may say no to moving forward with fans in the stands, no matter what we do.
That in the next segment.
But what I say, if you're going to start as scheduled, when does fall camp start? When do you get the players back on campus? And to make that decision, doesn't it have to be May, early June at the latest, pretty much, to get them to start fall camp on time? Because you can't just say we're going to start playing this week and not have any practice.
Are you buying that? Do you think that is that hope or is that belief?
That's hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's hope.
I think it's also athletic directors knowing how important football is to their livelihoods and saying, I don't see how we cannot have a football season.
Right.
I think that's the big thing.
Yes, and I think that ties into this next chart. Let's go ahead and put the next one up here if we could. What you're seeing, these were, Brett McMurphy asked these same 114 athletic directors, how do you feel about a 12-game season in the fall compared to last month? He did the number. Are you more optimistic, less optimistic, or the same? Less optimistic's green, more optimistic's blue, the same as red. What you got is the full percentage of athletic directors at the top. Now look, you've got the Power 5 guys, 18%. They're more optimistic. Only 10% are more optimistic in terms of the non-Power 5 guys. They are more, look, 8% are less optimistic of the Power 5 ADs. 27% of the non-Power 5 ADs are less optimistic. Methinks that ties back to money.
Revenue.
I think that's the big five know how important it is, and by gosh, they're going to get it played one way or the other. And I think that the smaller guys, especially if you're looking at conference-only schedules, that means those smaller guys, they're going to nuke their revenue games. You know, Charlotte coming to Tennessee. You're probably going to lose that if it's, well, you are going to lose if it's a conference-only game. I think it is a little bit about optimism and hope, and I think you can trace it right back there. The bigger the money, the more optimistic you are that you'll get something done somehow.
And to me, it all goes back to, are we going to have college campuses open for classes this fall? If that doesn't happen, I don't see how you're playing games, because you're asking athletes then to do something that other students are not supposedly safe to do. So I think it comes back to that, and that's going to ultimately be decided by the states and the university presidents and things like that.
And the University of Tennessee president and chancellor both came out and spoke this week. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Also, before we do this little tease here for our client, I also wanted to mention that the NBA has announced that players, some players in some cities, can come back to their facilities starting on Friday. So you're going to start, again, none of this means, okay, it's back, but it means you're starting to go in that direction. And I think for those of us who've been stuck at home staring at the walls, wondering how rent's going to be paid, wondering if your mother, your father, your child are going to be healthy, I think it's good to have any step in the right direction, and to see any of these positive things helps with the psyche, I believe. Let me tell you about Parkside Cabin Rentals very quickly, one of our longtime good sponsors here. They have purchased state-of-the-art cleaning equipment, the kind of stuff that is used in hospitals. They are taking this very, very seriously. So when they reopen, and they're planning to reopen soon, what they ask you to do, call the number on your screen right there, or check them out on their website. Call them and check it out and find out whether or not they've got anything available right now. Some open, some not. As this thing rolls forward, it may be opening on May 1st. It may be open May 7th, this one on May 10th. So call them, ask, get more information there. But they are planning to reopen soon as they get the green light from everyone involved. And then the other thing is, of course, as I mentioned, the purchase they made in terms of cleaning equipment is very, very impressive. We'll be telling you more about that on the show in the weeks to come. When we come back, though, President, Chancellor, how they weighed in on the money lost, and also the plan for fall semester, and who's going to be deciding if Tennessee plays ball or not. Come on back.